Hello everybody, hope you're having a fantastic day today. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Today I'm going to be covering some tips and tricks for beginner players, and I just want to say that I'm going to be making a playlist of these eventually, so kind of like a little series of these. So if you have any suggestions for tips and tricks for beginners, just let me know in the comments and maybe I can feature that tip or trick in the next video. But let's get into it. Okay, so the number one tip I'm going to suggest for beginner players is, for the love of God, join a team. Join a team. Just join it. Don't even question it. Trust me, it's the way to go. Just want to say too, not a lot of people know this, like even people that aren't beginners might not know this, but if you're ever going around shopping at vendors, you can just pull up the world activity, push the right bumper and go over to all, and you can actually see what people have in their vendors from here, rather than going around the map and trying to highlight their camps. So yeah, I didn't learn that up until like a year ago or something like that, so I thought I'd share that as well. A big thing too is get familiar with Westech if you're a beginner player. There is just so many good reasons to come to Westech, for steel, for guns to script at the vendors, and for ranking up, of course. It's just absolutely amazing. If you get a bunch of buffs going, like say somebody popped 4 lunchboxes, I would, and you're a low level, I would come over here as long as there's not an event going or something, and just maybe rank up a bit. And to help you rank up even, I want to throw another little tip in here, is well rested. And all you need is a bed in your camp. You don't even need it in your camp. Any bed anywhere will give you a 5% bonus XP for at least an hour. If you have an ally, it's more, 2 to 3 hours. And as you can see, once you slept in the bed for about 30 seconds, I think it is, you will get the well rested perk, which is an extra 5% extra XP. And trust me, that adds up over time. I see a lot of beginners getting confused, especially at my camp, because I don't always have the normal stash box that you see here, the blue one. So I just want to inform some beginners that there are a lot of different versions of stash boxes. It might not just be a regular blue one, as you can see all the different ones here. So keep that in mind when you're at people's camps. Another thing too, when you do get, familiar with the game and you do decide to put a vendor in, make sure it's obvious where it is. There's nothing worse than vendor hopping and having to look for someone's vendor, or, make sure it's obvious to find. There's no better way to put it. Another thing for beginners as well, I mentioned this in my recent video, is pacifist mode. Now you can accidentally shoot someone and then that will give them the opportunity to kill you. More often than not, when you shoot someone first, you're probably gonna die, unless you're doing like a PvP thing. I don't really understand it too much myself. I just keep pacifist mode on. That way I'm not, shooting anybody by accident or initiating PvP. And I would think most people are not looking to initiate it, so I thought I would throw that in there as well. Keep in mind there are train stations all over the map. I'm going to highlight most of them here, and they're just a great place. Like when you're traveling, like you'll see, I'm going to show in a second, that if you see a little train on your compass, I would go over and discover it. They have a stash box here. They have a not a scrap box, but a stash box, like I just said. I meant to say a scrapping station as well, and a vendor to sell stuff to that you don't want and to make caps. As a beginner player, you're probably going to have a lot of junk on you that you don't need. Don't feel bad about getting rid of it. Just keep the stuff that you're using, the armor, the guns, and the ammo that your gun uses, pretty much. Don't be afraid to sell some stuff. And as you can see here, this is one of the train stations, and like I said, there's a stash box at every one of them. I would like to see a junk box at every one of them, but we're not going to get into that. Most beginners don't or won't have Fallout First anyway. There might even be some duct tape there for you, which is nice. Adhesive is always useful in the Wasteland. And as you can see, you can scrap stuff at these places. And like I said, there's vendors to sell stuff too. It's just very convenient to fast travel to these places, when you probably might not have a camp built right away. And like I said, it's nice to be able to make the extra bit of caps just for fast traveling or whatnot. I want to suggest a beginner gun too. You have to be level 30 to get it, but you can get it at the White Spring Mall, actually from the Free States vendor or just the shopping mall vendor. They're both located in the White Springs Mall vendor there that I'm showing there, or the White Springs Mall the vendor is located at. And once you get the plan for the railway rifle, because you will be buying the plan, you can craft them and scrap them and get the plans for them. You can't get the automatic plan, I don't think, from scrapping. I'm not sure if you can. But if you can't, these places will have the plan for it too. You might have to hop servers because someone else might have bought it. So just keep that in mind. And I do recommend the fully automatic. But if you want to go semi-automatic rifleman, then that's up to you. Either way, this railway rifle is a great starter gun, maybe to use when you hit level 30. I would suggest maybe a shotgun and not dedicating perks up until level 30. It's very easy to find shotgun shells and higher level shotguns as you rank up. But once you hit 30, I highly recommend this railway rifle. This is a legendary one, but even if it's not, you will kill the enemies, you know, almost as fast as I am if you have the automatic piston. Even so, like I said, semi-automatic is very good, and the ammo is very easy to make. It's just a little bit heavy, but I do suggest it for a beginner player. Just, I wouldn't keep more than 200 or 300 rounds on you at a time, and then when you start to run low, maybe head home. Now, the best thing I can suggest for beginners is to just do the main quest missions. And the reason I suggest that is because doing the main quest missions will give you access to stuff that you're probably going to want anyway, and it will slowly rank you up in the meantime. So if you can stick to the main quest for the first 30 or 40 levels, I highly recommend it. Just grind them out. Even if you don't like them, just grind them out and maybe, you know, go off the trail a bit. And of course, keeping in mind for events that pop up, like Radiation Rumble is a great one. And just go to the events and try to tag the enemies you can. Remember, if you hit the enemy and someone else kills it, you get the full amount of XP. And I do suggest a Tesla rifle at the events. I think you have to be level 40 to get one of these. I'm going to leave a link in the description that explains ranking up at events with a Tesla. So look for that link in the description. It's a great way to rank up. But keep an eye out for events. Another thing I want to say too, do not worry too much about your food and hydration levels. It's not a big deal. You only get buffs for it when it is over 80%, which I'm showing here. And other than that, you're not going to lose anything from not being well fed or, you know, have your thirst levels low or high, I should say. And you do get a bit of a buff, but it's not a necessity. So don't worry too much about that if you're a beginner. Just let it go and focus on other stuff. The Cranberry Bog, I highly recommend that you just stay out of here for the first 20 levels at least. There are some enemies over here that will kill you if you do happen to accidentally get over here. Just maybe pull up the map every once in a while if you do decide to just adventure around randomly. You probably don't want to be in the Cranberry Bog. Like, even like myself, like, it'll catch me off guard, you know, being a max level character basically with all the fixins. A Mirelurk Queen will kill you pretty quick when you're not paying attention. So, and there's no real reason to go over here if you're, you know, under level 20. So just keep that in mind. If you do venture over here, there's some enemies like I'm showing in the video here that will absolutely destroy you. And then you might lose some junk that you didn't want to lose. And, you know, keeping in mind you can go back and get it, but, you know, maybe the enemy is too close to it. And yeah, you just don't want to cause yourself any, you know, pain that way. Another thing I want to suggest too, when building a camp, when you're, you know, first camp that you're building, you might want to put it next to a resource spot like I'm showing here. This is an asset resource, and I'm also going to leave another link in the description of an interactive map where you can locate any of the resources that you want that are around the map that you can build a camp to. Now, if it's near a workshop, you're not going to be able to put your camp there, but there's tons of resources all over the map, so you can easily find the resource you're looking for. There's even a couple of spots where you can get 2 resources in one camp. Not the greatest locations in my opinion, but if you want 2, you can get it. But I do suggest just probably getting 1 and maybe get it where you want it. And I do highly recommend getting an asset resource or a lead resource or even a junk resource, because Junk will just give you everything as a beginner player, so that'll probably help you a lot with the materials. And acid and lead is just something that you're gonna need, trust me. And when you do put the resource station here down, if you didn't know, it will not let you put the blocks inside of it unless you put a block close to it first, like I'm doing here. I do end up moving them because I know I wanted to put a wall in, and if you go outside of the green area here, which as you can see it would have been, I would have had a little bit trouble putting the wall in. So just keep that in mind when you're building this, that if you put a block close to the resource, then you can connect them and put the blocks through the resource. That way it just makes it a little bit neater, you know what I mean? That way you can also put walls up, a roof up, which I'm going to show, and then you can put a locked door on it so you're not having people steal your stuff, which will happen. This is the wasteland, right? So yeah, I just wanted to show this, and then you can even build your house off of this. I'll leave a link in the description on how to build a camp as well. You might want to check that out. It basically tells you all the necessities and, you know, the beginner building tips that you might want. But like I was going to say, I do recommend that you just build your whole base off of this. And then everything is in, you know, like it's going like in cogs, you know what I mean? The second I build this platform and then move over and build another one, you know if they do meet up somewhere, when you're building the rest of your camp, it's not going to connect. So that's why I say you just kind of start with one little platform. Maybe that's a resource like I'm showing here, which is a great idea. And then just build your whole camp off of that, and then it's all in line, and you'll just have so much of an easier time putting things together. And like I said, I will link in the description a video that goes through all of this stuff in detail, because building a camp is a big deal in Fallout 76. It's a necessity, and it has necessities added, basically, that you will need. The resource machine here is not a necessity. I just highly recommend it. It's just a little bit more of junk or scrap that you're going to be able to obtain. And like I said, acid and lead is not the easiest to obtain. And then if you found a junk pile, which is basically a resource pile, then that's really good for a beginner as well, because then you'll get a nice assortment of junk. And that's pretty much for this. And yeah, just put a door on it so you can get into it like I'm showing here. And you definitely want to lock it. You can actually lock the generator as well. Not the fusion generator there, but the actual resource generator. You can lock it as well. And I do recommend putting on the highest level lock that you can. And that will deter people from stealing your stuff. You might still get someone that steals your stuff, but then you just go back there and lock it again. You will have to lock it if they do lockpick it, because basically it's like them breaking the lock. And then you'll be able to go in and get your asset, close your locked door, and then it's protected. Simple as that. And again, too, if there's any beginners out there, I'm really good at answering comments. Just hit me up in the comment section of this video. I will do my best to get back to you and answer any question that you may have. And yeah, just let me know. And that's pretty much it for this one, everybody. It's already a 14-minute video here. I could have probably went a little bit longer. Maybe we'll make the next one a little bit longer. But like I said, I'm going to make this a series, so just keep an eye out for a playlist. And again, thank you everybody for all the support on the channel, and I hope this helps some beginners. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions, and I'll more than likely throw that in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everyone.